Garth and Chris Shaw of Wharetoa Genetics are based in Balclutha. Their annual two-tooth ram sale is held in mid-December and is the largest privately run on-farm ram sale in New Zealand. Garth's objectives are to breed strong meat production qualities into both maternal and terminal breeds while maintaining fertility, survival and resistance to internal parasites.
Our farm is 413 hectares. We've got 3,000 ewes. 1,500 of those ewes are recorded ewes on SIL. They produce 300 rams that we sell annually at an on-farm ram sale each year. All our commercial lambs are killed, although I have developed a market for some ewe lambs out of those commercial ewes. All the ewe lamb replacements I keep are from my SIL recorded ewes, and we kill all our export lambs at Alliance. In 1975 we registered our first Coopworth ewes. In 1990, when the exotics were released from quarantine, we purchased some of those rams, and from then we've developed all the different breeds we've got now. I've split our ram breeding operation in two lines, the maternal lines and the terminal lines. Obviously the terminal lines are solely based around meat and growth. Maternal lines have got all the other bits and pieces, fertility, worm resistance, growth and wool as well, but probably latterly we're putting more emphasis on the meat in them as well. I've got 5 flocks recorded on SIL. We've developed the meat maker, and I'm working on this other maternal one that I'm developing. I'm incorporating science and stockmanship and all the things I've learnt in the last 35 years regarding sheep breeding. This two-tooth meat maker ram is ranked #1 in our meat maker flock. The meat maker is a half Pole Dorset, half Texel. We're selecting them solely for growth and meat. He would have been eye muscle scanned. He probably went through the CAT scanner. I put about a dozen through the CAT scanner every year at Inverness. And of course he's obviously recorded on SIL for all the growth and meat and fat issues. In the meat makers I haven't selected for fecundity. The reason being that I want to make as much genetic gain in growth and meat as I can, and as a terminal side people aren't retaining ewe lambs anyway, so the fecundity thing is not an issue. This is our Wharetoa maternal two-tooth ram. Again, he is one of the highest ranking ones, the two-tooth ram. The Wharetoa maternal is a half Texel, half Coopworth, and I intend to stabilise that. They've been tested for Myomax and Wormstar, and I intend carrying that on to try and get Myomax Gold Wharetoa maternals so that people can keep the ewe lambs and really make a bit of genetic gain in maternal flocks for meat yield. I'm placing a huge amount of emphasis on fecundity, survivability, worm resistance. All the ewes that go into that Wharetoa maternal flock have been bred from my recorded Coopworth ewes. So they're all multiples. They've got to retain having at least scanned as having multiples. So basically any single in the whole system gets thrown out. So the fertility is right up there. These are my Texel two-tooth ewes. There's 2 or 3 Suffolk Texels in them as well, but what I'm doing with the Texels is I'm breeding the Texel for people to use maternally, is keep ewe lambs from. The Texel was brought into New Zealand as a terminal sire. When we started using it in 1990, we immediately saw the attributes that they had that would be beneficial to commercial ewes. Lamb vigour and survival was excellent. Resistance or tolerance to internal parasites is another one. And the other big thing nowadays too is with using Texels over Coopworths or Romneys, you're also introducing very strong meat characteristics into commercial ewes. One of the downsides of the Texel is fertility. So what we've done is we've actually bred these Texels up now that have got very good fertility, so that people aren't losing fertility in the commercial operations, and that's working very well. There's about 1,500 ewes in that commercial flock. All the ewes that I cull out of my recorded flocks for one reason or another just go into there. Basically they are Texel Coopworths, half and half roughly. I mate them all to my meat maker ram lambs. I don't keep any old rams for my commercial use. I just use my best ram lambs each year and basically get rid of all the progeny. All the lambs that I've sent this year have all fallen into the top range of Alliance's meat yield grading scheme, so I'm pretty happy about that. I've got a different colour ear tag for each flock. Over all my SIL recorded ewes, there is no tag the same. At lambing time, each different flock has got a different colour ear tag. The way I record everything at lambing time is I use the gene capture from Julia Aspinall Genetic Gains. So I tag over 2,000 lambs and basically don't put pen to paper. Without this thing, I don't think I could do it, to be quite honest. It works whether it's sun shining or whether it's snowing, it still does its thing. I'm working with Visor on the DNA, mainly Myomax and Wormstar. I've been doing the Myomax ever since it came out with my meat makers. And now with my new Wharetoa maternal breed that I'm developing, I'm very keen to identify the Myomax in them as well. I'm also using the Sheep 50K, new thing with Visor and Avita. I'm just struggling with it a little bit in that basically they say that by using that technology your breeding values are more accurate. Well, that might be fine, it's just the cost of the sheer upfront cost of it is just quite horrendous, and I'm just struggling to see whether we're getting a value for money, but as time goes on I think that will develop. And the Myomax is a meat gene that they've identified. Two genes of Myomax called Myomax Gold and one gene is called Myomax. So if you've got a Myomax Gold ram, it will pass one copy on to its progeny. If you're slaughtering a lamb with Myomax Gold, they have measured that those lambs have got more meat on them than ones without Myomax. I have questioned the Myomax thing a little bit too, and within my own stock, you look at the ones that have only got one copy of Myomax, and there's some very good sheep in amongst them too. But, Patricia Johnson said to me one day, she said, well, Myomax is one gene that they have identified. It's not to say there's not other meat genes that they haven't identified yet. I think to be a progressive ram breeder in today's world, you've got to do these things to identify the superior sheep. Clients are looking for these scientific aids to help identify the genetically superior animals, and basically I regard that as my job, and I'm using all that scientific tools that I can to help identify the rams that are going to produce my clients more money.
This program was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.